Perfect. Cough, cough. That's awesome. If I start again, it's going to mess up all the things. And I don't know why you're doing this again for 2 straight weeks. I'm not playing today. And
He's not.
You wanted to talk about the Madrox.
I know, and
That's
I was trying to put myself in a good mood because okay, little pre-show funds here. Not really fun. Usually it's me trying to get Dan out of a funk, but Dan was trying to get Greg out of a funk.
And then Greg just kept getting in more of a funk.
I just kept spiraling, people, and now Dan's trying to get me out of being mad and into rocking with Madrox. Again, we're talking about the cool transforming toy that is a mad, angry rock that also rocks in a guitar-playing band. It's a rock that plays a rock guitar.
Is it sold at Rocks and More?
Or
is it more than rocks?
More than rocks that rocks more than rocks can rock. Before
is it more than rocks or rocks and more?
More rocks than a rock can rock at Rocks and More.
No, what is the name of the store?
Oh, More Than Rocks.
It's not rock. I want it to be Rocks and More.
No, but it's More Than Rocks.
Like, I kept telling people it was Rocks and More because I'm dyslexic. And then they write the sign and it says More Than Rocks.
It's More Than Rocks.
But I just kept saying the name backwards to everyone. And they're like, that's not the name. And I don't know. Well, this is Jamie Madrox. So if he was Madrox, then he would have been Extreme in the 90s.
Oh my gosh, because his last name,
Extreme.
The last letter in his name is an X. And then all of a sudden they go.
Well, we've got a much better cover this time. The cover it means something this time.
It's more Jamies than one cover can handle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's a lot of Jamies on this cover.
Actually, because Jamie Madrox is, what is he called? He's the what man?
Multiple man.
But there's 8 of him on this cover, making that 8 the sign of infinity, making it infinite.
Well, he's not the infinite man.
He's not the infinite man, but
he's not the infinity man.
He's not the infinity man, but there's an infinite amount of him.
Theoretically, there could be an infinite amount of him, except that's actually not true because he's on planet Earth. So you'd have to obtain space travel. So then maybe, but the planet can only sustain so many people. So there could be an infinite because all the clones would start dying.
Could he continue to go to different versions of Earth?
No, it'd be Malthusian.
And well, I mean, but what if he did? And then would he be able to populate it with different versions of himself?
Well, there's lots of it. He could just continually populate, yes.
Because he just repopulate and populate again.
There'd just be lots of sad Madroxes. They actually did this. Mark Waid actually did this with Triplicate Girl in the 2000s, around the same time, actually.
Wait, so there's more than one?
Well, so, yes. So in DC, there was a character named Triplicate Girl who became Duo Damsel in the Legion.
Yes.
And when Mark Waid did his version of the Legion in the 2000s, which was a complete restart of the book, made it completely different. He tried to take some different takes on some of the characters, and one of the takes was that Lorna Durgo, Triplicate Girl, did exactly what you just said. And she just had a whole planet of herself, and she was keeping that a secret.
Think about that, though. If you had a planet of yourself and you were like...
It'd be terrible.
Would it be terrible?
It'd be highly efficient.
It'd be highly efficient, for one, for you. But then you could always... you could always be running all the things that you wanted to at the same time, and it would always be great. You could have a comic book store that was exactly the way you wanted it to be. You could have a Radio Shack fully operational and functioning.
The people that came would buy all the comic books that I like, and I'd have to replace all of those all the time.
Oh, man. What if you opened a store that nobody liked except for one version of you?
Well, we don't know about. There's not. That's the trick. See, the clones. I don't know. You're giving away the
Well, we're
story.
not talking about clones. We're talking about
Duplicates.
duplicates. They're just different.
Different than clones.
Clones is like cloning one thing from another thing.
Yeah, well,
Duplicating is like a Xerox machine or a.
This is
Oh my
kind of the
gosh!
same thing.
Hold on a second. Let's go one step back. What's the machine that gave you purple hands, Dan?
Well, you can clone yourself or you can duplicate yourself. It's just he has the power of self-replication. So if you want to say
Yeah.
it's a Xerox machine, but I don't think it is, you're not copying the functionality of the power is more like clones though, because
I'm thinking more of a ditto machine.
and it depends on who writes it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
going to take this back and be serious for a second.
Okay.
But when it's an interesting power because I do think Peter David writes it in a really cool way
Mm-hmm.
where they become more like clones than duplicates, right? They're not like the last thing he was in, the X Corpse or whatever,
Yeah.
was stupid because they made them like you were describing, like a Xerox machine. Like how many Jamies do we need to run the facility?
Each one was doing
they're
this, doing different things, but they were all the same person.
All running the facility. Peter David writes it more like they are clones, that they're going out and doing different things. They have slightly different personalities and slightly different interests, but then when they reabsorb, Jamie takes on part of that personality and knowledge, right?
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, I do think that's, personally, I think that's a way more interesting way. So, because the title of the last episode was Now Dan Likes Clones, which is only true in this case. I don't like them all the time.
You don't want to leave him a clone now.
No. So we're not going to do the clone jokes again. We've done clone jokes on previous podcasts.
Here lies the question, though. I mean, if indeed it is more like a situation where they're creating a similar personality, but it's a singular personality that is slightly similar. Kind of like you have twins that are not identical, but they're.
What if they are identical? They still have slightly different personalities.
Well, I mean, like a fraternal twin, right? They're similar but different.
Well, these would be more like identical twins, though, that just are under different circumstances.
So, like triplets, quadruplets.
Well,
do you think?
Yes.
Do they get?
Like, what is the?
Well, I guess the question is do they absorb powers? Like Madrox does, if one.
No, I don't know what you're talking about now.
Do people in general that have twins, triplets, sextuplets, quintuplets, whatever it may be, do they share powers?
Yes.
Or those types of they
don't share powers, but they have the same genetic makeup. But
well, I mean, like, what if they have experiences?
Doesn't mean you'll do the same thing.
Not exactly experiences, but like, I mean, what if, like, they pass on those types of things back and forth? Like, I mean, it has been documented in some ways, but do we know exactly?
No, we don't. But I don't know what point you're making. Like, I have no idea where this conversation is going. Yes, which is okay. So we're going to talk about the comic book now.
Yes.
Instead of Greg's theory on twins and rebirth, perhaps you should explore your theory on twins in a future issue of Junior Braves of the Apocalypse.
We do.
I know. Anyway.
Issue 2.
Yes, but a future issue should explain it more. Oh, you can't.
We can't.
Anyway.
Fire.
Well, you could.
No.
Because if twins had powers, then you really could.
No, because there's no survivors.
There's always survivors. Anyway, all right, it's a comic book. So
it's based on real life, Dan.
It is not based on... Okay, so anyway, Madrox, cool cover. All right, so Greg, I ask you.
Yes.
Alone you are mighty, together you are legends. X-Men Legends for the PlayStation 2. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh my gosh. Wait, X-Men Legends for PlayStation 2?
Yes.
I give it a thumbs up. I give it a thumbs up.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a thumbs up because we're starting here. This is the base. This is the baseline.
Okay. We're probably. I don't think I have enough to rank this issue, but we'll just do a thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. X-Men Legends. Greg highly recommends. Only for the N gauge.
Only for the N gauge. No.
All right. Jamie has made it to Chicago, and he's found a reporter guy getting beat up.
He's getting a Chicago dog.
Yeah. He's talking to some guy. He's getting beat up by some guy who likes Mr. Petit.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting a Chicago dog.
Steve Buscemi's getting beat up.
Steve Buscemi is getting beat up.
He looks like Steve Buscemi.
He does look like Steve Buscemi. Well, Madrox walks in just in time to stop the beat up. And in his thought bubbles, he says, late at night in a city celebrated for its criminal leanings? Yeah, probably both. In this case, Chicago, guy getting roughed up. Suddenly the hero shows up out of nowhere to save the day, or who knows? And that's how we start the story. And Jamie makes a comment that he's come into this film noir, and the hood that is beating up the reporter says, "Noir? What the heck is noir?" And one of the fellow gangsters says he's referring to the film noir, a French term literally meaning dark film pertaining to the 1950s crime movies, noted for their cynical, amoral characters in a sleazy setting, pervaded in a sense of hopelessness. And the other guy just says, "Shut up." It just proves that nerds are everywhere.
It's true.
But anyway, this guy.
I have to say.
You have to say.
I have to say that Madrox.
You do have to say.
Madrox. Upon reading this, he looks like Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, I've never watched that show.
But
I mean, I know it exists and I've seen the characters, but I've never watched it.
Anybody listening, just go take a look at take a look at Madrox, take a look at Jamie Madrox from this particular run, and then take a look at Mac from Always Sunny, and then just put them side by side, facial.
Have you
and
been to Philadelphia?
Oh, it's not Always Sunny, but it's super friendly.
Listeners from Philadelphia, Greg is lying. You know that. Write in to tell him how much he's lying.
It's the city of brotherly love. They got great cheesesteaks.
Don't they throw batteries at people there? Anyway.
Yeah, they do. And they have great cheesesteaks and house music all night long. House music all night long. With a big house. Anyway.
I don't know what's happening right now, as usual. Anyway, the gangster with the tattoos on his head punches Jamie a whole bunch of times and makes a whole bunch of Madroxes.
Oh my gosh! And then they all fight the gangster of love.
Well, I need a thumbs up or a thumbs down for you.
Okay.
Transformers Energon. 2 arch rivals and 2 awesome DVDs.
Oh, that is a thumbs up. That is a thumbs up.
All right, well, we'll continue with the story. That's a thumbs up. You were about to explain why, and I'm like, we'll continue.
It's Transformers, Dan.
Not all Transformers is good. You've heard of this person named Michael Bay.
Yeah, and this is not that.
Yes, this is cartoons.
Yeah.
Okay, so Madrox scares off the gangsters by punching them.
He punches them.
And scaring them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy he's talking to, he starts cleaning him up and looking at his pretty mouth.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of the clones does.
Oh, yeah. See, not all the clones, everybody's different. They all got their own personalities. And
apparently, one of them like a Steve Buscemi type.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you're looking pretty cute.
And then he absorbs them all back into him. And then they have this
Chicago dog.
No, there's no, that's not funny. So
It's not funny.
no.
Okay.
So I don't know why it's not funny. It's just not funny today. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm grumpy
So-
today, I guess. I don't know.
I was grumpy earlier, and I was trying
I'm
to
not
get in a
grumpy.
good mood.
I'm just sore. Okay.
He's sore.
So
Dan's sore. It's my fault.
literally, not figuratively.
I made Dan.
It's not your fault. It's
made
the fault
Dan
of
stand
the
at the
person
store.
that crashed into me with their car because they don't know how to see an intersection and understand that lights are, when they're green.
You're not
you
allowed
go,
to talk
and when
about
they're
it. You're
not
not allowed to
green,
talk
you go.
about it. You're not allowed to talk about it.
I can talk about it because the person illegally ran a light. That is
That's
on
true.
paper. That is the one part I can talk about because it's
on
in a
video,
police
too.
report. The video doesn't matter. It's literally in a police report. I can talk about that. And
Yeah.
also say that I hurt a lot.
He
Now,
does. Yes.
this person also is hurt a lot because he was
Got
getting
beat
beat
up.
up. But he is on here and he says they're talking about stuff and they decide whether or not they want to go after this gangster that tried to kill Jamie. So we're kind of summarizing up the pages. By the way, the film noir art style.
Yes.
Are you gyrating in hopes of?
It's trying to make you laugh.
I'm just I'm trying to figure out why it's going on now. All right, well, we're about to have another big thumbs up here, but
all right.
Before we get to the big thumbs up,
yeah,
we get back to that guy with the white hair and the white tattoos.
Oh,
that
yeah.
tried to kill Madrox.
Yeah, that guy.
And he thinks he killed him, but he didn't. And he's on top of the Empire State Building, and he looks like he's about to kill somebody else who's happily looking off the Empire State Building. And they're like, oh, you got to kill all the Jamie duplicates now. He's like, fine.
Man, that's a lot of work.
And so he was supposed to kill this guy, so he throws him off the top of the Empire State Building. And then we get an advertisement. These are the worst advertisements ever, honestly.
What's it for?
For the M&M candy bar.
Oh, man, M&M candy bar? Like, I very, very, I minimally remember that. It's like, hey, let's take a candy and put it inside of a bar.
Yeah.
Of chocolate that's already a chocolate candy. That's a good and dumb idea at the same time.
And then they also ran the worst advertising campaign for them too, putting theoretical redheads from the 70s being happy about themselves. I don't get it.
Who's the redhead that they put in there? Is it
thumbs down?
It's just thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Like we're not even gonna analyze this anymore.
We're not even. We're telling you, funny book forensics right now. Dislikes M&M
dislikes
candy bars.
The advertisements and M&M candy bars. We like M&Ms though.
We like M&Ms. They're delicious.
Well, we get back after we see Jamie in Chicago, and we've got Rain Sinclair and Guido, strong guy.
Yeah.
And a duplicate of Jamie, and he's fixing the triple X investigations. Triple X investigations. Say that 5 times fast.
Triple X investigations. 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 Triple X investigations.
Yeah, you started to lose it there.
No.
All right, so it's anyway, they hang up on and they see, and they get there again. They get a client, and before we can learn about this client, we have an advertisement for thumbs up or thumbs down. MTV's Viva La Bam Season 1 and Wild Boys, the first complete season.
Man, CKYK for life, but Viva La Bam, yeah.
So thumbs down?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody out there likes it, but I mean, I like the OG CKYK.
I don't know what any of this is.
CKY2K. When they went
the Jackass person.
It was like when they were doing all their straight to video skateboard video tapes and stuff like that. That was pre MTV, before they got the money and before they were popular, and they're just throwing shit on the ground and breaking pottery.
Is that
and
Steve-O?
Yeah, it's before they got a cast of characters and people.
Okay. Well,
Johnny
it's probably.
Knoxville.
I'm sure this was the inspiration for Ow My Balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Okay.
that definitely inspired that bit, or that bit inspired this. I don't really know, because I think that
I
think
think
Out My
those
Balls.
inspired Idiocracy. Yeah.
I think
Not the other way
Idiocracy
around.
came first,
Well, it's happening, but
and then this happened, or that happened, and then we're living it now because people are doing stupider stuff than Out
well,
My
anyway,
Balls.
Jamie has somebody come into the agency named Carol
Yeah.
Campbell, and her husband and her live in Mutantown, and she
Make
wants
soup.
to investigate because he thinks he's cheating on her.
Uh-oh. This is not
And then
good.
I think I finally found another thumbs down too. Then we get an
yeah?
advertisement for Spider-Man 2 skateboards and scooters.
Oh, man. I mean, honestly, a movie tie-in, but on a skateboard or a scooter, just to have it minty and, like, in box, the scooter would be cool, because I would, like, pull that thing out and be like, oh, look at that. That's cool. Maybe the skateboard is kind of neat and stuff like that. Keep it with
I
the
feel
Back to
like
the Future.
corporate skateboards defeat the culture.
It does defeat the culture, but it's memorabilia for those people who grew up as children during that time frame. They're like, oh my gosh. I mean, like, dude, I got my Back to the Future deck. It's not the OG one that I remember my friend having when we were kids, but like, when Joan Soda did a remake of it, I was like, well, I'll buy one.
There are a lot of advertisements in this comic book.
Oh yeah, we'll keep going through them. Let's go.
There are a lot. Well, anyway, Carol shares that her husband is sleeping around with a woman named Kim. And
Kim!
We find out that he's a quadriplegic and he's astral projecting to sleep around on her.
Dirty
and
dog.
Jamie's like, this is a terrific mystery for us to solve. We do get the same Halloween costumes we got last time, the Captain America Sentinel of Liberty costume.
Oh, man.
Which looks much more like the Tick than it does Captain America.
It honestly does look like the Tick.
So if
Mr.
it yelled out
Warbutton,
spoon,
are we gonna go see him? What? People.
All right, and now we're ready for another advertisement.
Let's
now
see
definitely a show that does not belong on ABC Family anymore, especially since that network doesn't exist. But are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You can now see it from the beginning. Smallville is available on ABC Family.
Oh, wow.
Now, I would like to see where you rate Smallville.
Honestly, okay, Smallville was one of those shows. When it first came out, I had a coworker. It's my first big boy job, my big person job, if you will, out of college, working at a major airplane manufacturer. And my coworker's husband at the time, I don't know if they're married or not still, but my coworker at the time, this is a long time ago, but they were excited about Smallville, and she was like, I don't know why he's so excited. And I'm like, because it's like, it's young Clark Kent, Superman. And she goes, that's exactly what he said. I don't understand what that means. And I'm like, you married a nerd. You should just be happy that he settled for a 6.
Yep. Wow. I liked Smallville very much. I didn't know where you stood on Smallville.
No, I really liked it.
Now you're not allowed to like
history is like.
But I had all the seasons.
Yeah.
And it was the first, I was at season 7 or season 8, which is the first live action Legion of Superheroes. So, I was excited about that. Obviously, I don't know what Tom Welling is doing with his brain.
I don't know.
I mean, he's better than the previous Superman.
Yeah.
He's better than Dean Cain, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Where they find these actors for these shows is beyond me.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the actors is participating in the Chicago sexcapades that are in this book right here. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of them's in jail, so.
Isn't she out of jail?
Oh, she's out of jail now.
Well, anyway, enough of Smallville. Not Smallville cast.
One of them went on from playing a small recurring role occasionally, like maybe 3 episodes, to having a full-fledged their own show now.
He had a much more bigger recurring role.
Did he have his own? Did he have a bigger than?
Yeah.
Just like 4 episodes of Aquaman.
Oh no, you're talking about Aquaman.
How many Aquaman episodes were there?
I was thinking of somebody else on the show.
Oh anyway, yeah, no, I mean there was a lot of.
There's a lot of people on that show that went on to do things.
Yeah, but
there is a podcast. Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling have a podcast to redo the show, trying to get back some. Yeah, they do.
That's cool. I'd listen. I should listen to that.
I would listen. I just haven't got around to listening to it. So before I make too much, I like.
We should.
Like,
oh my gosh, Dan.
We should review their podcast.
Listeners, we should listen to their podcast and review their podcast on the episodes that they review. Oh my gosh, what a podcast idea! In which you review the podcast episode of the episode review.
Oh yeah, so you're every crappy YouTube creator. You know what we do too? We play parts of that podcast while analyzing it, while we play people making paper mache in another video on the side of it.
We only do 1 minute at a time, and we break it down 1 minute at a time.
It's called 1 Minuteville.
1 Minuteville.
Sounds great. DC Comics had a whole storyline called the 1 Minute War in Flash like a year and a half ago.
But then the only people that would follow, they would be all excited about it, are like dudes in their 50s thinking that it's like a podcast for them, that are like, oh, hey, cool, there's a bunch of other guys like me.
Yeah, sure. That are 1 minute guys. Anyway.
Come on, you're no selling me on all my terrible jokes.
I just made my own terrible joke. So, we go back to Chicago, and we get a bunch of Jamie dialogue. Stringer and I met back in the X Factor days, and we've kept in touch. While I have him, he's always afraid I'll out him. I can imagine that being so afraid of what people might think of you that you have to keep your true nature under wraps. Then again, when you have it in your power to never be alone, fears of being shunned aren't a big priority. So he explains him about Reabsoria being the stab duplicate. They get into the story. They start to do some investigation. They end up back at the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And we get an advertisement for Marvel TCG Deluxe Tins Trading Card Versus game. Where did you sit on Versus?
Man, you know what's funny is this is like, there's a slight resurgence, not because it's like... where I sat at the time, I wasn't playing TCGs, except for maybe I played Magic with like you and Bill once or twice.
Yeah,
honestly, and that was like, you guys made me a deck to play with,
and I think we were done playing long before Versus came out.
Yeah, and I might have played, and
I don't know.
I might have played, a couple of the vampire games that were out, or the werewolf game, but this came out well after that, so this was like, whatever. But now people are like finding these cards, and they're like, oh my gosh, I found a thing. It's whatever.
Next it'll be HeroClix.
Oh, man, I can't wait. I'm gonna cash in. I'm gonna cash in so big.
I had, I think Palmer and I had the MLB Showdown game. I think that only won 1 year though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, I mean, it's collectible. Well,
I know my Star Trek one did not. Like, it was cool, but it wasn't.
I have a
money.
bunch of those too, I think. Didn't you tell me to buy them so we could play the game?
I said Star Wars because Henry was trying to get a bunch of people to play Star Wars.
No, I
with
mean
him.
like now, like 5 years ago. Didn't you
Yeah,
tell me
no,
to buy
like
a bunch?
yeah.
And
Oh,
I
well,
have a bunch now.
I had a bunch. I was like, hey, who wants to play? I'll play with you because if you get some, I'll play.
Or did I give them to Ann? They're probably in the garage. You know, we could do that live. That would be fun. Well, anyway.
Oh my gosh. Who wants to see that? Dan and Greg playing Star Trek.
I really do like, of course, you know, they reissued a bunch of the DC deck building game, and I like that.
Yeah.
Because, but the deck building game, you buy the box
deck.
and you have everything. Yeah, it's
and
not
it's just
like
you're not
hunting
it's a
down
drafting.
cards.
It's a constant draft game, right? I mean, you get the deck is there. You're constantly drafting off of it, and you're pulling your cards to make your
drafting isn't the term I would use, but yes.
Okay, well, no, anyway. What do you call
drafting is when you drawing,
drafting, drawing, whatever.
Well, no, drafting to me is like drafting your best. Well, I guess you do draft off the playing board, technically. That's not how it's called.
So similar but different.
So I think you're correct.
Kind of like any of these Madrox.
You know what?
Any of the duplicates of Madrox are similar but different.
Well, anyway, we get some more Madrox thoughts. Madrox thoughts.
Madrox
Stringer pretends he's a cynic. That's okay.
Okay. So he is Steve Buscemi.
How he disguises his basic optimism. Well, he's every character Steve Buscemi plays. I don't know what Steve Buscemi is like in real life.
Yeah, that's true.
I can relate. I make jokes, crack wise, grin like a fool. Anyway, they find this lady on Sheila DeSoto, longtime lover of Edward Vance, who is a multi-million-dollar industrialist tied to organized crime. So they're going to go track this lady down because he thinks he was getting his Madrox on with her as a dupe.
The vice president's wife?
No.
Oh.
That'd be a different kind of Madrox. That show got canceled because the actor was...
Oh. I see.
Well, he became president, didn't he?
That was a different show altogether.
Yeah, it was a completely different show.
Designated Survivor. Now that's a theory.
By the way, movies that don't hold up.
Yes.
What? You know what? Let's play a super fun game because you want me to tell jokes. So I'm going to tell jokes in Dan fashion now.
Oh, God.
Greg,
no.
What holds up worse?
Okay.
Smallville or American Beauty?
American Beauty. American Beauty holds up worse than Smallville. Although, I mean, they're like equally balanced. That's tough because you've got two actors that were actively part of a situation or a cult, that one was convicted and one was, I didn't know what was going on, so I can't really be held accountable for all this stuff. But I was part of the thing, but I wasn't actively part of the thing. Although I was actively part of it. I was part of the sales part, but not the other stuff.
In American Beauty, he goes for that guy's daughter.
Yeah. I know, yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah. Well, I was talking like the real life situations.
Well, right. I'm saying that the movie ends up almost being like the real life situation.
Oh, yeah. No. But
where in Smallville, you just have like a character.
They just sell Amway.
Yeah, well,
but they turn people into Amway in real life.
Right, but then the character was always trying to solve like mysteries, right?
But they were creating mysteries.
Weird. But also with Smallville, DC Comics was actively trying to get that character into the comic books.
But they never got in.
Well, no, they did, and then all the stuff started happening.
And then they got out.
So,
yeah, no, but I mean, like with American Beauty, it was like the weird like mirror effect of like, hey, this is, although it's a different mirror optically,
Yeah. This
Where
is some
we're
film
seeing,
noir shit, just like our comic here.
yeah, it is. This person is actively doing this in the movie, but they're actively doing this in real life. It's just with
They're
a different
gross.
person. Yeah, and they're gross, and they've been doing this for quite some time apparently.
Well, I feel like this comic is a little bit gross too, in the
You
sense
think
of
so?
I like the story,
Uh-huh.
but it's weird that Jamie is obsessing over this lady a little
Well,
bit.
he's trying to understand why and how is she important?
But he says
Because
she's definitely to die for. So is he trying to track her down as part of the story, or is he trying
oh,
to like get together with her?
I don't know. Maybe he knows something that he doesn't know that he knows. If you know what I mean.
Okay. I have a thumbs down, by the way.
What's that?
The official Marvel collecting catalog.
Oh, boo. Yeah. I mean, like it they could say it's official and they could say it's the collecting catalog, but we all know what's really collectible and what's not, and everything they put in there is not collectible.
Was this like post Dynamic Forces, or was this,
Oh, that was
or
Dynamic
is Dynamic
Forces at
Forces
play.
still happens? Dynamic Forces still happens, right? They're still
Yeah.
selling stuff.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
No
all right.
buenos.
Flip the page.
Bastard.
Our friend, the murderer, has tracked down the cabbie that took home the Madrox in New York.
Yes.
And he puts a gun on him, and he's like, you're gonna tell me everything about what you heard. And he's like,
Give me the info.
And then thumbs up. We get
Yeah.
the Joe Kubert School of Art.
Hey. Yeah.
I'm supposed to be asking you if it's a thumbs up or not, and I'm just
It's a
making
thumb.
decisions
I'm
on
gonna
these
say it's a
easy
thumb.
ones.
No, it's a thumbs up. It's there's an irony to it because I know a lot of people that went to Savannah to go to SCAD, and I know a lot of people that went to Joe Kubert School of Art, and it's interesting the two different schools of thought, if you will, that come out of going to those two different schools. So depending on where you went, I had two different editors that went to one editor that went to one school and one editor that went to a different school, and the type of interactions I got on projects was you would think editors are across the board, but they have very different processes based off of how they learn things. So it's really interesting and it's really neat to be able to pick the brains on things.
Well, in that advertisement, it said that Carl Kiesel went to the Joe Kubert School.
Oh, yeah.
And he also made Impossible Jones.
Yeah. And I have that book right on the other side of the table over here.
So there you go. I gave you something cool on Saturday, and you haven't even looked at it.
How do you know I haven't looked at it? I brought it home
because you would have
with
talked
me.
about it.
I brought it home with me so I could look at it when I have a chance tomorrow. Tomorrow is my day for looking at things.
Tomorrow? Like a book made by Tomorrow's
that
Publishing?
You picked up on my tomorrow.
I
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Yes,
I can't
Tomorrow's
wait.
did a big Crisis cover and did a whole issue dedicated to George Perez.
Yeah. It's actually crazy to think
George
that it's been 40
Perez.
years. Perez. It's interesting to think it's been 40 years since that book came out.
Makes you feel old, don't it?
It does, because honestly, it was like another 15. It was like it came out 40 years ago, but then it was like 15 years later when I actually laid eyes on it and was like, oh, hey, because like when I was like, oh, what's this about? Let me get into this. Let me like actually read this and pay attention to it as opposed
Right.
to whatever. It's a book.
And I was reading the Legion books at the time, but I didn't have the money to go buy the Crisis books. But I was aware of Crisis happening, so I had to like go skim back on the books later.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had for years. I had all of them. I had read it because somebody let me read it, but I had all of them except the Death of Supergirl one with the iconic cover. But I have it now. But yeah, it's I had to skim them back together.
Yeah,
I remember that. It was crazy. Well, I had the Legion, the saddest Legion book ever I've shown on the podcast before, but with
Oh.
Brainiac 5 crying, the Legion cover with Supergold being shot in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to this book. I didn't want to get us distracted by Crisis, but I brought it up.
But you brought it up, and that's the crisis we're in now.
Well, Jamie does this really cool thing where he makes a bunch of duplicates and he climbs a wall over into the big estate owned by the gangsters.
Yeah.
And then on the way down, he reabsorbs all of them. And he's starting to notice some different things about his duplicates, right? They're all arguing with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so some are like, oh, well, you shouldn't be going after this other person's, girl. You get what you deserve. And they're talking about sending, like, one's saying that, and then one says, you're a wuss. He was one of us. We should send this person to the morgue. And then another one says, and yet does not endless cycle of violence accomplish nothing except its own perpetuation. And the other one says, is anything good on TV tonight? So they all seem to be getting kind of a different level, not just of like morals, but also intelligence, I guess, throughout the duplicates. We're not going to call them clones. But again, that's where I was saying they're acting more like clones, right? They sort of have this independent piece of them. I really like this.
Well, because they're
develop.
unique, and that's what makes them fun. It reminds me of the Michael Keaton movie where he's got all the was it duplicity?
Duplicity.
Multiplicity,
not duplicity.
Where and each one of them is a different version of him, and they have different characteristics and whatnot.
And one of them is Batman.
Yeah, one of them is Batman, and the other one is like
is Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and one of them is like Mr. Mom, and another.
And then one of them disappears for 20 years before they make another good movie,
and becomes a Birdman.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, yeah, I think I also, this is an interesting concept because, like, you could, if it became popular, right? Like we know in the future you get an X Factor series because we're living now, and we didn't know that this at the time that this book was put out. But you could almost have spin-offs, right, of the X Factor series. Like, you could do a mini series of like Jamie going to do this or Jamie going to do that.
But as a different Jamie, right? Yeah, right. That would be so cool. And then you don't know which one it is until all of a sudden he absorbs them at the end, and it's like, what did I learn?
Yep.
And then another one dies, and he's got to go figure out why.
Well, we do find out all about the fact that he had one to go become a Shaolin monk because he's using magic Shaolin powers to avoid cameras, which I didn't know Shaolin monks could avoid cameras.
Have you seen, like, you've only seen the a few that are able to get photos of them, but have you seen all of them in a photo together?
I don't know, but this guy's reading a newspaper that says Magneto alive ?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Mile High Comics. Hey, look at that. Always overpriced.
Sideways.
Yeah, I did like when he got in the fight with. I did like when Chuck got in the fight with San Diego Comic-Con and called them out for pricing vendors out. I thought that was fair.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give a thumbs up just because of that.
I can't give him it's like I had to give him a thumb. I want to go there so bad. I just haven't gotten a chance to. You've been there, so you can give him a thumbs, whatever you want to give him.
I've been to their. I didn't go to their original store. I went to their warehouse store, which is super cool.
Cool.
And they had, they have a bunch of things. When I was a kid, I bought stuff from Mile High because you could open the little book and they had the graded versions, and it was before the internet. So, well, anyway, Jamie shows up at a pool.
It was a time before the internet.
Yeah, Jamie shows up at a pool, and the Sheila lady is swimming.
Yeah,
and she looks at him and says, "James." We get another advertisement for these things called checks. We won't rate this one.
Oh man, checks. It's not just for breakfast.
Did I mention that there's a lot of advertisements in this book and it's really disrupting to the storytelling?
Because they need to pay for them. They need to pay some bills.
I don't know. How much was this book? This book was $3. This was $2.99. I don't think they needed to pay for anything. And this is the direct edition. Like, do they need this much advertising? Anyway,
They wanted you to pay.
she runs up to Jamie and says, "Oh, thank God you're alive." Blah blah blah. They kiss and
thank
stuff.
heaven for 7-Eleven.
And then we flip back to New York, and our assassin guy tries to shoot duplicate Jamie through the window.
Damn.
And when he shoots him, James, falls into the pool, and it says, "To be continued." We don't know what's going on, except he might drown. And then we get another advertisement, because it's the end of the book.
What for?
For Atmosphere, the DVD board game.
Oh my gosh. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
I don't know what this is.
Oh, if you don't know, I can't explain it. And if you never played it before, oh, thumbs up, people.
It's no Stratomatic baseball, that's for sure.
That's true, it's not. But if you like scary stuff and you like a little freaky deaky, you like choose your own adventure and you like board games, this is that thing. I'm pretty sure as we've moved into a time frame in which, a lot of people don't have DVDs and stuff like that, you could probably find this ripped onto YouTube, and you could probably play the game via YouTube, and it'll probably, find a PDF at the board or whatever.
Maybe we should do that at game night.
Holy cats, why don't we do that?
Well, okay, and then the back cover here, I know, is the reason we didn't rank this time, because I already knew what you would rank number 1.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I could be wrong.
It's thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah. Well, we have an advertisement for Fable on Xbox.
Oh. Thumbs up, of course. If you don't Fable, if you don't have Fable 1, how do you get to all the other Fable games?
Well, I figured that you would rank that above all the other things in the book, so I didn't bother to do a ranking because...
I mean, it's not like I don't have them all over yonder.
Yeah. I knew what you would rank number 1.
In my Xbox cabinet.
As you hear the plastic bag here, I've put my comic book away. Greg,
yes.
Where are we at on our story? What are you thinking here with Madrox?
I'm really loving it. I'm liking that you brought this to us to read. This is a great Peter David book. It's something that honestly, if you're not reading this, if you haven't read it, people, go and find it. You can get it on Marvel.com, which I usually dislike. It's been reprinted. I usually dislike navigating the website, but it's really easy to find because it's a mini series. You just pull up Madrox, you find the mini series, you look up Peter David. It's really easy to find. Therefore, I give it a thumbs up. But outside of that, it's a definite must read. It's something that you should check out if you haven't checked it out already, because it's just a really good, fun story.
Well, I sat down and read all of it. I'd read issue 1 already, but I read all of the rest of it last night. I just sit down. Yeah. I finished in like an hour, right? It's less than an hour, I think. It's really good. It's it'll grab you. You'll keep reading. Yeah, I like it. I mean, we did the Nathaniel Dusk a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
like 3 years ago now. But that was fun in a different way. But I really like this. It's interesting. New spin on the character. That's why I picked it out. I wanted to grab something that Peter David did that I think a lot of people know about. I mean, he wore the Madrox shirt all over the place, right? So obviously he liked the character. And so I wanted to honor something he liked, but also something I think is just a really good story. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. I think the art, the cover art picks up on this one. I think it's much better than the first issue. And I think the interior art is really great.
It's so good.
I got to give some credit to Brian Reber, the colorist, too. The way this is colored, really, the scenes, especially like sometimes comics in this sort of dark tone when they're at night, can be really monotonous.
Yeah, but it pops.
And with Greg, they're tiring, as you just saw. They're tiring.
I'm so tired. I'm sorry, everybody, but I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it is like so late right now. It keeps me up to record these episodes.
I was just gonna say these it is not that late, first off. And second off, I really like how it kind of goes how the colors on this really go he really lightens and brightens the book depending on the
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
And immediately, especially the contrast here, since there are no page numbers, I can't tell you what page it is on, which is extremely frustrating. And we're
I
gonna blame that
know.
on. Are we blaming that on Cory Petit, the letterer, or Pablo Raimondi, the penciler?
I think we blame it on format comic, and
I blame it on Brett.
you blame it on Brett. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously, back in 2004, when Brett was reading this, he said, "Oh man, I want to not put I want to put no numbers in a book
So, well,
someday."
Madrox number 2, all done.
Number 2. Yeah, I can't wait till number 3. Which the cover for this looks awesome too.
I do want to say something besides just being sore. There is something getting me down, and I think I want to mention it really quickly on the podcast. We appreciate everyone, and we want people to stay safe. We understand that in LA right now, there's some really terrible things going on. And we have a president that's decided to invade his own country. And obviously, if somebody wants to disagree with me, then they can go read the U.S. legal code and see whether or not deploying U.S. troops on American soil is allowed or not. And
it's a bad idea, people.
It seems like a terrible idea. But anyway, just want people to stay safe. And we realize there's a lot of people going through some terrible stuff right now. So we're here to try to, I can be sad on the comic book and sore and a little bit grumpy Dan on the podcast, but we want you to know that, we're with you and we want you to stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever situation you're in, please, do your best to stay safe and take care of yourself, because we know this is a really difficult time. And if we can brighten your day a little bit by sharing some comics with you, we want to do that. Comic books were always a big escape for me, especially as a kid, and a world I could look brighter to. And it is Pride Month. And, I used comic books to escape into myself, right? And as a young closeted gay man. And so I know it's really scary right now. But we just want to say, I know I didn't even ask Greg if I'd say this, but I know you agree already. Yeah. This is something we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
We hadn't talked about LA, but what I would also just like to say is, in all seriousness, please stop lighting the Waymos on fire. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just innocent little cars, and I like to ride in them. But outside of that, besides that, just keep yourself safe and take care of yourself, and be vigilant.
Yeah, be vigilant. Stop, look, listen, and think. Pay attention to your surroundings, and make sure that it's not just LA, but also in any other large city, small city, wherever you're at. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on around you, and look out for those around you as well. Use water if you're hit with tear gas, because everything else doesn't work.
Yeah.
I write books about it.
You would know more about that than me, so you have much more experience with tear gas than I do.
Just be safe, and we love you.
Yep.
All of you.
And take care of yourself. It's tough. It's tough. So we love you. Please take care of yourself, and embrace. I think one of the things about reading a comic book like this right now is this. Obviously, he says in the book he has a little bit more courage to do different things because he can create multiples of himself. But it's nice to read too. It's kind of fun to see a character willing to go out and try new things and embrace new ideas. And I would just encourage everybody on both sides of this battle to do the same. Yeah. Embrace new ideas, get some perspective on the people you're talking to, show empathy. You're not going to win people over to your side without empathy and without understanding. And so it's easy to vilify. But what I will vilify is when the president is breaking, the Constitution and breaking his oath as the commander in chief. And that's when I will call it out. So Other than that, though, if you are on the other side, if you are concerned about immigration because you live in a border state and it's scary, talk to me. I'm happy to have that conversation. I have a conversation with a coworker and now my friend that's really close to me, lives in Arizona, has different concerns about immigration. And we have really good conversations and try to build empathy and understanding. But if you're not doing that, and if you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to get far. And you're going to line up and become an ideologue and line up. And I say for both sides, because I've seen ideology posts on both sides. I certainly know what side I'm on. And I certainly know that you have to approach people with kindness and compassion and empathy. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere in the conversation. And me saying that is really tough for me. I'm a debater and I don't always, center the other person in my conversations. I've really had to try. So I think that's the best way to work through a time like this, even if I can't follow my own advice. I would ask you to do the best of your ability. And I know I at least try, and hopefully Greg's seen me try more over the years. But anyway, don't want to end on a completely sad note, but we know stuff is tough, and we want you to hang in.
Yeah. Hang in there, and check in on your friends that may be going through some stuff too, on all sides, so all sides of everything.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go see somebody on Thursday that I haven't seen in a couple months, so I'm excited. And I think, keep track of folks. With that said, we'll forego the plugs today because we ended on a serious note. And
we're super serious.
It seems sort of serious to start plugging everything, but the one thing I will plug is that you will next week we are going to be at SummerCon on the 20th, or not, I guess technically this week when I release the podcast. So
oh my goodness,
if you want to come see us, and if you want to catch up with us, if you want to have a debate with me and tell me I'm completely wrong about everything I say about comics, find us at SummerCon. And we'll hang out with you. We just found out today that Dan Slott is going to be there. Greg and I are wondering if it's the smartest thing to advertise one of the best comic writers of the last 20 years to your con, or,
a week before it starts.
Yeah. But
hey, everybody, we got one of the most prolific and amazing people. If you don't know who he is, I mean, you listeners know who he is, but I'm sure some of the people out there are like, who's this guy? That don't
if you
follow
just
comics.
look up Dan Slott and read, and you'll be fine. I did believe I read that he had the longest run on Amazing Spider-Man of any writer consecutively.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, I mean, like a lot of people are like, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, if if you know Spider-Man from the last, several years, Dan Slott Spider-Man, and She-Hulk inspired the television show. And obviously Peter David did some writing, so there's the tie-in. We already mentioned Dan Slott because Dan Slott, She-Hulk, and then Peter David followed up.
I should bring that one that I have him sign.
And I think Superman Unchained, which I have sitting over here, he's now doing some DC work, which is kind of crazy.
Is that the one? Is that? Oh man, yeah, no.
I haven't read it yet, so don't ask me. We'll have to ask listener Jason because Jason has probably read it already. I'm a little bit behind. I'm almost caught up on Superman, so I'm almost there. I'm got to be caught up.
It's the summer of Superman, Dan.
Yeah, well, and I've got to be caught up, but I've got to be caught up
caught up on that Superman.
I got to be caught up for the Legion appearances. So,
it's a Superman SummerSlam.
Yeah, Jason. I'm getting there. We're gonna be able to talk about it soon. I promise.
Could you have a Superman SummerSlam at Denny's? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
If they made one, what would it consist of, Dan?
A red sun.
Well, I thought you were going to say, like, all the meat.
No.
Superman, he's, like, beefy.
And it'd be a red sun.
Just a red sun? Like
instead of moons over my hammy, it would be...
just like blood oranges?
Red sun. Yeah, blood and oranges.
It's just like blood orange juice. Oh, like V8 juice and blood orange juice and everything. Red
sun over my.
Wow, that.
Well, it's not a Nightwing dish. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry. We just
It's,
derailed it. We're trying to get goofy
yeah.
for a second, make you laugh, giggle, and have a good.
But I did have a listener call out.
Oh
We
yeah,
have a new listener. Yeah,
Oh, what?
welcome Jiu-Jitsu Kiahi to the podcast,
Whoop, whoop.
listeners. So, yeah, so he is one of the coaches at Certified.
Yeah.
So we have a new listener,
Yay.
one of the compatriots of Jiu-Jitsu lawyer Paul. So we now have 3 listeners.
Yeah, and my grandma, she downloads it all the time on her iPad.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't know that she does.
She doesn't know how to download things.
She doesn't know why she gets all these alerts that says, "What's this funny book forensics? What is this?" She's been getting it for 5 years, Dan.
I don't think I don't want Baba listening to the podcast would be the saddest thing. She'd just be like, I don't believe you do this. What are you doing?
What the heck is this? I tried to explain what a podcast was to her. It's a radio show. She goes, "You're not on the radio. Nobody wants to listen to you."
Yes, that's exactly what I think would happen. Anyway. Well,
it's literally what she said.
It's literally what would happen. So, well, anyway, we should wrap this thing up. Everybody out there, stay safe. Thank you, new listeners. Thank you, listener Lance, too. And
yes.
We'll get to, if you are a listener and want to leave us some feedback and stuff like that, we now have the videos are out on YouTube. So if you listen to the audio version, you can watch the video. The video usually comes out a day later. So I got to get everything to render and all those things. But you can see Greg. You can see when I'm holding up the comic books. In this case, I'm actually holding up the physical comic books. Oh my God, I'm touching comic books. What's happening?
Oh my gosh.
You can see, and you can see all the books behind me. So
I'm holding up video games.
Like Amped.
And Def Jam.
And Def Jam Fighting Sorcery.
Fight for New York on Xbox. One of the best games out there.
All right. So anyway, we're wrapping this up, and we will see you next time for Madrox number 3.
Yeah.
Yours. Goodbye.
See you.